The conventional wisdom suggests that a film's reception and box office success are reliable indicators of its overall performance. However, certain movies have defied expectations, experiencing significant success despite initial setbacks. Several beloved films, now considered classics, initially struggled to find an audience and were deemed box office failures. It took years for these movies to gain recognition and appreciation from audiences, highlighting the notion that a film's initial reception isn't always indicative of its long-term success. And in this video, we will see 10 films that started their journeys as box office flops, failing to resonate with mainstream audiences upon their debut. However, as time went on, they defied expectations, gaining a loyal following and earning the coveted status of cult classics. So let's start our video with the 10th box office flop that became a cult classic, American Psycho. As societal norms in the United States have shifted, American Psycho has emerged as a poignant social critique. Despite its initial box office disappointment in 2000, earning just $34 million, the film's sharp commentary on issues like sexism and wealth inequality has propelled it to classic status. Now a cultural fixture in 2024, it serves as inspiration for various songs and music videos, demonstrating its enduring relevance and foresight. American Psycho proves to be a timeless piece ahead of its era. And the 9th flop that became a cult classic over time is John Carter. John Carter stands out in cinematic history as both one of the most exorbitantly funded films and as Hollywood's monumental financial disappointment. Despite its staggering $306.6 million budget, the movie managed to recoup only $284 million at the box office. A decade later, it has transformed into a symbol of cinematic singularity, recognized for its unparalleled uniqueness amidst the annals of film history. And the 8th movie we're going to talk about is The Shining. Upon its release in May 1980, The Shining initially failed to impress viewers, leaving many confused and prompting criticism from author Stephen King toward director Stanley Kubrick for allegedly ruining the adaptation. Despite grossing only $45 million, the film has since become a beloved horror classic over the past 40 years. With exceptional acting and cinematography, it has garnered a cult following and influenced numerous modern filmmakers. And the 7th box office failure that became a cult classic is Donnie Darko. Despite a disappointing box office performance, Donnie Darko faced challenges upon its release, with critics speculating that its timing amidst the aftermath of 9/11 dampened its reception. The film's intricate themes, coupled with its perceived intellectual complexity, initially hindered audience connection. However, over time, viewers have come to embrace its depth, propelling it to cult classic status. Despite a production budget of $6 million, the film struggled to recoup its costs, grossing only $6.9 million upon release. And the 6th box office disappointment that became a cult classic over time is The Shawshank Redemption. Despite being based on Stephen King's short story and having a budget of $25 million, The Shawshank Redemption initially flopped at the box office in 1994, only making $16 million. Its lackluster performance was attributed to factors like its forgettable title and inadequate marketing. However, following multiple award nominations in 1995, the film gained widespread recognition and became one of the most rented films, eventually achieving status as a cherished American classic. And the 5th box office flop that became a cult classic is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Initially overlooked at the box office, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory struggled to find its audience despite its modest $3 million budget in 1971. With earnings of only $4 million by the end of its initial run, the film's popularity soared with the release of its 2005 remake, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Subsequent TV reruns and rentals bolstered its reputation, establishing it as a beloved whimsical classic among children's films. And the 4th flop movie that became a cult classic over time is Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Star Wars: The Last Jedi remains deeply polarizing, with its reception split among audiences. Despite generating a staggering $1.3 billion in worldwide box office revenue, its performance in China fell below expectations set by financial analysts. Much like other cult classics, it incites strong opinions, with a faction of Star Wars enthusiasts advocating for its removal from canon due to perceived flaws, while others hail it as a standout entry in the sci-fi saga. And the third flop that became a cult classic is The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz holds a unique place in cinematic history, embodying both a box office disappointment and an enduring classic. Despite its lackluster financial performance upon its initial 1939 release, the film underwent a remarkable revival when re-released in 1949, ultimately achieving widespread acclaim. Today, its global box office earnings approach $35 million, buoyed by annual Christmas reruns on cable TV, solidifying its status as a timeless favourite. And the second box office disappointment that became a cult classic over time is The Thing. Upon its release in 1982, John Carpenter's revered masterpiece The Thing grossed a modest $19.6 million against a $15 million budget. Film analysts attribute its lackluster box office performance to mistimed marketing strategies. However, as the film transitioned to television broadcasts and home video, it garnered a devoted following. Renowned for its pioneering visual and auditory effects at the time, The Thing remains an enduring exemplar of cinematic horror, revered as one of the genre's most impeccably crafted works. And the last box office flop in our list that became a cult classic over time is Citizen Kane. While numerous acclaimed films faced box office disappointment, Citizen Kane always stood as a masterpiece in the eyes of critics and cinephiles alike. However, its initial lackluster performance was attributed to alleged interference by influential businessman William Randolph Hearst, who purportedly suppressed marketing efforts and media coverage. As a result, the film grossed a mere $1.4 million in 1941. Despite this setback, Citizen Kane eventually rebounded to achieve cult classic status, enduring as a timeless testament to cinematic excellence. So if you had to choose only one movie among these 10 cult classics to watch, which one would you choose and why? Tell us in the comments section. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to this channel.